always fought not for one reason, but for multiple reasons. Any historian of military matters will tell you that we go to war for multiple reasons, never just for one, never just for religion. And that, so that in the pre-modern world, politics and religion were not separate, and because any state depends upon warfare, it's founded upon warfare, it's maintained by warfare, and no state, however peaceful it proclaims itself to be, can ever disband its army. And therefore, when people go to war, sometimes they'll use nationalism, that you die for your nation, which has become a sort of new religion for us. In the old days, they would say, we're doing this for God, but they're also doing it for many other reasons, political, military, and above all, economic. The competition for scarce resources has always been the cause of most of the hostilities between human beings. We human beings have an ability to, we need meaning and value in our lives. And when we can no longer find meaning and value in, say, sacred symbols of religion, we turn to other matters. For many people, I think football or soccer is a kind of religion. They get a sense of solidarity, it gives them a sense of moments of transcendence, and they identify with their team, and it gives them some kind of a meaning to their life. I think sport plays a very important role in bonding society together now, as religion used to in the old days. And the nation too has become a sort of religious symbol. If you define the sacred not as something supernatural, but as something for which you're prepared to die, then the nation has replaced God, because it's now no longer respectable to die for your faith or your religion, but it's admirable to die for your country. IS is an example of it, an organization which is both secular and religious. The two are deeply combined. The leadership of IS is very secular. It's the worst of secularism, and it's a form of debased religion. And its values are mostly negative, as far as I can see. The desire to pull down nation states that have proved to be inadequate, set up by the colonialists in the Middle East, and to destroy on a vast level. I don't see many values in IAS of that nature. It is an amalgam of many things, again, never just simply for religion. Any expert in terrorism will tell you that terrorism, whatever its ideology, is always inherently political. So we have to look at the political factors. If you look at Charlie Hebdo, for example, you have this was backed by Al-Qaeda. Now, Al-Qaeda always has a clear political objective. Bin Laden was quite upfront about his political aims. He spoke constantly about Palestine. He spoke constantly about the corruption of the regime in Saudi Arabia. And he spoke constantly about Western policy in the Middle East, which he felt had distorted the region, as well as Islamic values. And so in Charlie Hebdo, they were orchestrated. The Al-Qaeda wanted to create a clash of civilizations. That's its aim. And it's the same with IS. IS wants to be at war with the West. And so they orchestrated a clash of sacred values. For us, freedom is a sacred value, not because it's holy or supernatural, but because it's central to our identity. And when it's threatened, as with any sacred value, we feel personally defensive and vulnerable. And that's the speed with which the slogan Charlie Hebdo took, Je suis Charlie, became current, showed that people identified with that the people who had died in that magazine that represented freedom for them. So IS was saying, right, you attack our sacred value, the Prophet, we'll attack yours, see how you like it. And they have been able to use the Western response of all those leaders marching against Islam as a very handy recruiting tool. They'll present it, incorrectly of course, as the West marching to destroy Islam. We are quite right to mourn the people who died in Paris and feel shock and distress and fear. But we must also remember that the West is by far not the only people who are being attacked by so-called Muslim extremists. Far more people who are Muslim have died at the hands of IS than Western people. At the day before the Paris catastrophe, 44 people have been blown up by IS suicide bombers, and we don't mention them. What we should be doing is, at the same time as we have the tricolor on our public buildings, we should also fly the Lebanese flag to remember those people too. If we go on in the blinkered way that we do, never mentioning the fact that 90% of the people who died in the wars in Afghanistan or Iraq were civilians, men, women and children, Muslims who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we never mention them. If we go on behaving in this rather blinkered way, only honouring our own dead, we give the Muslim world a distinct impression that we have created a global hierarchy in which some lives are more valuable than others. That is not the way the West should be represented, because of course the West believes that all human beings are equal.